Hi everyone, to start I just want to say that I haven't done a video like this before, and when looking at these cards I held my Labradorite, which normally gives me the biggest insight into my intuition. For me it was really interesting actually to make my notes and then go back and look at what Angelo came up with, because what I came up with was completely different, and I know that's almost expected. For me, I did do a linear reading of left to right, but I didn't do it as quest method and the position you are in reaching that quest. I read the Magician as the boss. I read the Ace of Swords as Amanda herself, and the Page of Pentacles as like the solution. So I read the Magician as this position of dominance and power and influence, and how this is not only her job role, but how she feels is her responsibility. She feels that it's her role to influence and make sure that she, to a certain extent, exerts her power on her team. But if you look at the card really closely, you can see at the bottom there's a ring of flowers. So I kind of felt that maybe the boss feels like she's confined within a ring when it comes to Amanda. Not really quite sure what the best way to manage her is. Whether it's based on tough love to encourage her, or whether it's based on praise to encourage. Maybe there's some kind of problem with productivity. There's maybe a bit of envy there. So this is leading to maybe not knowing how to motivate her. She seems to be orbited by the different like tools, altar tools. So she is confined by this balance of showing love and support, and as well as strength. But if you look at the way they're orbiting, they don't seem to quite be in balance. You can see the chalice of love is at the top, at the front, and the Athame is also right at the top, exercising the strength, but not quite being in balance. Maybe it is all comes down to her not being sure of which managerial approach to use. But to kind of end the Magician part, I did see that card as the boss. Now the Ace of Swords had this beautiful big sword in the forefront. It's the first thing that catches your eye, and for me, even though the Athame is a symbol of strength, I see it as a weapon. Now, a weapon in terms of Amanda could be some sort of personal skill, personality trait. That is her real strength, her weapon. So there might be some threat there. It might be the fairy kind of character in the background might be a direct reflection of Amanda, in the way that it's possibly her beauty, her youth, her innocence that is the threat, or being well liked. I felt the fact it was like a fairy was possibly this whole enchanting, people are drawn to her beautiful aura. There might be some jealousy there based on whether Amanda's well liked or just respected more than her boss feels respected. It might actually be something to do with the way that she works. She might be better than the boss at something. Maybe she's got better time management skills, she's more productive, she's more creative, she's better at problem solving, and so the boss feels threatened that Amanda is going to exert some sort of dominance because it is her skill, and try to undermine her in terms of the way that she approaches maybe a team's project or something like that. Yeah, so this seems to be that the Magician is possibly threatened and doesn't know how to exert her managerial status, and doesn't know how to exert her position in the hierarchy. because she feels threatened that Amanda actually might have better skills than her and doesn't necessarily deserve to be below her. And the only way that she's learnt to manage her is through being harsh. That's what I've seen. So when you move on to the Page of Pentacles, which is generally it generally is the immature side or the child side. I view the king as masculine, queen as feminine, princess as a sign of maturity, and the page as a sign of immaturity or child. So it could possibly be just the entire symbol. Actually, it's really interesting that Angelo mentioned that the page was looking at the sword, because it could be that this is just a temporary, immature managerial approach that the manager has, is looking at this skill as a massive negative thing and feeling threatened by it, instead of embracing it and encouraging her to be part of the team using the skills she has. The Page of Pentacles seems to be going through like the reeds after coming through some fields, though there is some rough and smooth journey-like thing. Maybe it's actually the manager's personal journey. There might be some rough things going on, and maybe Amanda reminds her of someone in her life that's giving her trouble, so she's kind of taking it out on her. But to me, the entire Page of Pentacles thing with the journey through rough and smooth tells me that this is a transient state. It won't last forever. They both need to adjust and establish this rebalance, maybe with the Ace of Swords relevant to Amanda, being possibly to pull back a little. Actually, as Angelo said about being demonstrating that she accepts that she is a student, or has things to learn from someone in a higher position, and the Magician getting her management skills into balance in working out how to deal with Amanda. Or it may be it's just a case of tests. So when you come through the rough and the smooth, life is a series of tests, and it's not what the tests are, it's what you learn from them. So it's possible that this is a phase of her treating her harshly to see how she responds to it, in order for her to find the best way to manage Amanda. Unfortunately, you do then have the flip side of the immature, childish extent being a reflection of Amanda. Maybe she's looking too much into it, and a couple of off days isn't, the manager being out to get her. It could be that she just needs to roll with the punches for a while, wait for things to settle in both of their private lives when they might not be so sensitive to each other, or find the middle ground in terms of the way they deal with each other, the way she presents herself in front of the manager, and also this settling down and rebalancing of the way that the manager needs to deal with Amanda. I think all that I would suggest to our client, Amanda, is this idea of grounding, of possibly evaluating the way that she behaves at work. And rather than, I'm not going to say change the way she behaves at work, because that should never be necessary. You shouldn't have to change yourself for other people, but possibly just examine the way that she is portrayed by other people, trying to put herself in other people's shoes, and see whether that could be a direct threat to the hierarchy in the workplace. But I would reassure her this is a transient state. Funnily, Angelo, I didn't see at all the idea of her leaving the job, but I don't know if that's because of my personality being more of a perseverance and determined view, rather than removing yourself from a position that could be self-harming, because I always find out too late when I should have removed myself from a position, as in with like collapsed friendships or whatever. So maybe I'm missing something there. But yeah, that's just about all I got. The other thing I will say, it was fantastic to use your cards. I have the Goddess deck, and the Enchanted Map Oracle cards. So it was lovely to see a different set of cards being used, and I found them very revealing, although in a completely different way to you. So it's been lovely to connect with you in this way, and come check out my channel. It's not very pagany or wiccany at the moment, but I'm hoping to take some of my chronic pain management videos in that direction. So I'll see you guys around.